Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Kaga. Today's video is half about the Furutaka and half about one of the new maps that was released with the World of Warships patch 0.4.1. The map is called the Soloman Islands, although I will refer to it as Ironbottom Sound from now until ever. While not being strictly based off of Savo Sound, or is it Savo Sound? I don't recall. It does have one resemblance in the fact that in the coming however long this map is in the game, there will be a guarantee that there will be untold numbers of ships sunk in the enforced ensuing carnage that is a typical battle in World of Warships. So we are in a tier 5 match on this, as you can see, relatively small map, as the firing range of the Furutaka is only about 13 kilometers, and we're covering about 35% of the map with our firing arc at the moment. So this is something for people to note, is that as you I doubt this is a particularly high tier map because if you were in a, say, a Montana or a Yamato, you could pretty much not move the entire match and be able to rain shells over the vast majority of it. But that's another story. Of note in this particular replay is you will see the disposition of the islands, in that the team on the southern half of the map starts off with what appears to be a large lagoon or an atoll. You can think of this as being similar to like Truck Atoll and the southern Pacific. Um, but you see that this has got this weird asymmetric, like vastly asymmetric disposition for the islands in the center of the map, which means that one side is going to probably have a destroyer advantage, and I'm going to believe that depending on the types of destroyers present on the team list, that you're going to see that I believe the southern end of the map will probably have a preference for using like American destroyers, whereas the northern part of the map is going to prefer the use of its Japanese destroyers. And right now, you're seeing that everybody who can fire a torpedo is heading towards this central gap in the islands along the 5-6 boundary. It's quite predictable. And right now we're bringing the guns to bear on this enemy Furutaka. I've loaded AP because, well, why not? And you'll notice that I am firing single shell ripples and adjusting the lead as he is turning to maximize the chances that I might get a citadel. I would be more than willing to bet against that, considering the extreme angle on some of those shots, but we can always try, right? And we were just a little short on those ones to pull that off there. And there's one of the things that you can do in this map if you have a heavy cruiser is to use these islands to control when an engagement happens. And I mean that both in the sense of when you choose to engage enemy vessels and when you allow an enemy vessel to take a shot at you. Now, this is probably only best used as a stalling tactic, if you will. And I mean that in the sense that you can use this to start off a match, but you should by no means stick to this tactic on this map. It rapidly evolves, at least in the one or two times I've been on this map. So I advise that you maybe spend the first few minutes and in this fashion, and then break off to deal with whatever is the most potent threat at the time that you're looking to engage the enemy more actively in this manner. In this instance, you see our allied battleships down in the south, uh, or should I say the southwest to be more specific. Looks like they're probably going to get massacred. And at the same time, I see this cluster of enemy cruisers and one battleship and this destroyer up north that really needs some attention. And it looks like we had an allied cruiser YOLO his way straight to the bottom of Ironbottom Sound here. So right now I'm scanning the enemy cruisers, trying to figure out what is the most appropriate shot. I see that that Omaha is going nice, straight and true, and we use that to pick up 2 citadels and critical him out a little bit there. And that's one of the strengths of the Japanese heavy cruisers is just the ability to just pour citadel fire into enemy cruisers and even some battleships, really and truly. They're just able to do it, and you see, we mix and repeat. And I think that's going to be the challenge for cruiser drivers on this map, is how to get the shots while they're making use of the landforms and islands present on the map while not exposing their citadels. And right now I'm shifting fire to the destroyer at the moment because I figured that he was the more potent threat, so I had the sense to keep pouring fire into him, as it looks like at the very least I might not be able to save that destroyer, but utilizing his spotting of that enemy DD, let's deal with him when we have the opportunity rather than regret not having done so. So you're seeing me make use of a different part of the map than I've been talking about. I've been thus far talking about how the islands can be used quite creatively in your heavy cruisers to gain and deny shots on the enemy, as you've also seen me do. And just take a quick pause, we're going to dodge some torpedoes here. We're going to thread right between them if we can. And we managed to pull it off as they run dead. But I'm making use of the wide bays that are actually present on this map here. The way I'm making use of them is to utilize the fact I have space to maneuver, and it's allowing me to dance the hull of the Furutaka around the enemy's fields of fire. And I'm taking opportunity shots on this St. Louis because as I'm trying to maneuver in getting towards our cap circle here, as that's the easiest way to open up the distance at the moment without stranding myself completely alone. I'm taking the shots that present themselves rather than slowing down unnecessarily in too wide a turns or too steep a turns, because I don't really want to be caught out in the open and being spotted by that what looks like an Omaha for that enemy battleship out there. And while I don't believe that he's a threat right now, I'm not going to take any chances, so let me use the space I have and just keep this guy at bay, keep him interested, and maybe we can pull him back into something of a trap. And right now you can see that this little atoll in the southern part of the map can be a little bit interesting to try to dodge fire with, but at the same time, maybe that was just me not being aggressive enough with the turns there. And there's that battleship again. So again, we got the AP loaded, but we aimed too far, to pick up any citadels. And it looks like our St. Louis is getting stuck in. I personally would not have taken the St. Louis out into the wide part of the bay there because it's a relatively slow cruiser in comparison to the Furutaka. So he's going to be more hard pressed to evade enemy fire. And while the St. Louis's armor certainly does have its troll moments, I don't believe that it can withstand the sustained fire that an Omaha and a battleship can put out. So, taking that in mind, I'm making use of those islands again, or I'm going to, and that I'm going to come up around the side of this large island and you see off on the port side of my vessel. And I'm going to deny the enemy Omaha the opportunity to try to get around my vessel and render my guns inoperable because I can't get them on the target. And I think that's exactly what he's trying to do right now. But no sense trying to deny myself easy shots onto this battleship. We have high explosive loaded, we've set him on fire. Oh, delicious. So now we're gonna get one more salvo off on this. We've switched to AP because now that that Omaha is coming close enough, it's time to deal with this. Knowing what's coming, I throw down some torpedoes. I put my good old damage control parties to work, and I begin giving this Omaha a piece of the good news. He's wisely turned out because torpedoes in the water. Only a fool would travel in a straight line with this. He's still contemplating whether or not he can get around me. We put in a really odd citadel there, and we're able to finish off that cruiser with that, suspecting that I would deal with those torpedoes. I again decided to make that quick turn because I kind of anticipated it and I swung out. So we're going to now end this match on fire, but not that that really matters. So yeah, it's a pretty average game in this one. Nothing special. And again, this is really just being creative with the new map, and I hope that you could have seen at least one side of the dynamics that will be present on this match. Did I just say match? I meant map. Sorry. Yeah, there's some new dynamics that are going to be worked out on this map in the coming days and weeks as people get used to the map. And I suspect that you're going to see more of the emphasis on cruisers forward rather than anybody else, and destroyers through kind of screening the middle. But you may see the battleships sticking towards intermediate range because of the way they've designed the edges of the islands in this instance to be absolutely blind in some cases. So some people may not want to risk going through those narrows or around the blind turns, if you will. And I'm going to make a claim, and I suspect that time will tell if I'm right or wrong, but you're going to see battleships start sticking towards the edges of this particular map. And I mean quite heavily because it will grant them the greatest vision across the various ways across the map. So, once again, I'd like to thank you for having stuck with me for this relatively quick video on Ironbottom Sound and, of course, the Furutaka. If you have questions about the Solomon Islands map, something you saw in the video, a particular gameplay choice you didn't understand, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to answer your questions and possibly get a discussion going on that. If you like this video or other content on this channel, please consider subscribing. Please look forward to similar content in both World of Tanks and World of Warships in the near future. I'm always looking to upload some more videos. I suspect that my next video will be all about some of the vehicles, the new vehicles in World of Tanks, specifically the Japanese heavies. In particular, the ones that I have not put up any videos on, so like the OE experimental, the OE, the ONI, those three vehicles, I believe. Anyway, I'd like to once again thank you for having bared with me for this video, and as has become my custom, I wish to bid you good day.